Fortune. I thought that we were about to, really get some exposure, really do well with this group, and then the next thing I know, that we're breaking up. It was awesome what we could have done with so many ideas.
And do you have any idea why they pulled the plug on Fortune so quickly?
No idea. I think that they wanted to put the belt on Bobby, I guess. Maybe they didn't have another top guy. I don't know what it is. But it'd been just as easy to do that staying together. We had, like I said, we had so many great ideas as far as Frankie and Bobby and James and myself. It would have been so entertaining, How awesome would it have been to see us four and Ric Flair get off a plane that said Flair Force 1.
Right.
Like reenact Hangover, when they wake up in the morning. That little stuff, do a spoof on that. We just had these ideas, but they wanted us to have suits and stuff like that. I'm like, no, we shouldn't wear suits. I know I'm going off tangent, but you got to hear this.
No, this is not off tangent at all.
They want us to all have the suit and tie. That to me wasn't cool. What's cool is wearing, the sports jacket, Affliction sports jacket, and the, what people normally wear who have money.
Right.
They also want us to ride in a limo. That's not cool anymore. What's cool is showing up in your own sports car.
Right.
Or for me, it'd be showing up on my stretched out crotch rocket. To me, that's cool. And so we all had different ways that we thought would, make Fortune different, but everybody could relate to it. James Storm's going to pull up in his freaking pickup truck with big wheels on it. It's going to be, every redneck's going to love it. I'm going to pull up a motorcycle that's a crotch rocket that different people are going to like. Frankie Kazarian's going to pull up on his Harley Davidson that a lot of people are going to love. And Bob Greer's going to pull up in his sports car. You got 3 or 4 different guys that are all different, but at the same time, they're cool because you can relate to them to some degree. And that's what I wanted to do. We all wanted to do it. We just couldn't get them to agree to, like, this is what's going to, propel us to wherever it is we're going. It's little stuff like this, but we just couldn't get them to get on board. I hated the suits.
How about working with Ric Flair?
That dude's a character.
I know that. I know you don't follow the independent scene, but everybody else watching this knows about my history with Ric Flair.
Is it good or bad? Little A and B?
Little A and B, yeah.
Well, the worst thing for me, I think, was when they wanted me to be like Rick. They wanted me to be the, Ric Flair. He cast too big of a shadow. No matter where we go. I remember I was the World Heavyweight Champion, and we went to a St. Louis game where, I believe it was a St. Louis game, and he was going to throw out the first pitch. Mm-hmm. He did throw out the first pitch. I'm the world champion. He's Ric Flair. Right. He's throwing out the first pitch. When the interview came, they're interviewing Rick, not me. Right. I'm in the background as the world heavyweight champion, but he's Ric Flair. I mean, I didn't expect any different. I really didn't. Although I wish I could have thrown out the first pitch for Rick because he didn't make it past the grassy area from the pitcher's mound. It was sad.
A lot of people have commented on the European tour and Rick's bar tab. What is your recollection, you being there?
Well, I wasn't.
You weren't there.
I was. I believe that may have been when I hurt my hip. I may have been then, and I wasn't able to go, but I did hear the stories about a bar tab. And
all right. Well, let's say this. Acknowledging that this will be hearsay, from the people that you trust the most, how do you think it went down?
Well, from what I've heard, that Ric Flair ran up a bar tab, and usually it was buying other people drinks, and then apparently ran out of money, and so he had to borrow money from some of the roster, and I don't really know much more than that, but Ric Flair ran out of money. Actually, I think he asked for more money from the guy putting it on, and didn't get it, and got angry. And didn't get on a flight or something.
A bus, right?
Yeah. It seemed pretty huge at the time. I wish I knew more, but I wasn't there to experience it myself.
Did you have any other... I mean, I know you're not one of those guys that hang out in the bars until 2 a.m., so maybe you don't have many Ric Flair stories, but working with him, did you have any Ric Flair stories?
I know that after the shows, after TNA shows down in Orlando, me, Frankie, Chris, and sometimes Joe when Joe moved down to Tampa, he didn't necessarily, he just went home. So it was usually a lot of times me, Frankie, and Chris. And we'd walk into the DoubleTree,
Right.
and there's the DoubleTree bar, and if you're on the north side of the DoubleTree, you're gonna have to walk by that bar every time. If you're lucky, you got it on the south, because you know you're gonna hear this, "Wild man!" That's what you heard. You know, like, oh, there's Rick. Oh God, I'm tired, man. I don't want to.
You don't want to turn down Ric Flair.
But you how do you? Yeah, exactly. How do you turn on? And most of the time, Frankie would get caught, and I would just act like I didn't hear him sometimes, because I was tired and I wanted to go to bed, and I didn't want to be disrespectful, so I just act like I didn't hear him. But Frankie would get caught up, and I think he'd have a drink or two with him, and finally make it up to stairs. But that was the biggest thing. That was the thing I remember the most about Rick, is you didn't want to hear that. Wild man.
Well, Matt, what? I know what it's like.
Share.
Look out.
This is just absolutely.
When I hear the name Funk, I think of excellence.
It's a high risk.
4 days ago, I was at the Tokyo Dome in front of
I knew you'd come.
My name's Matthew Riddle, and I'm a professional wrestler.
He kind of branched off.
Okay.